Welcome back to All Things Rangers this week. I am your host, Mark Williams, and I am joined once again by the one and only Mr. John Filkowski. And once again, we're joined by our guest from the Off the Post podcast, John's co-host on that show, Mr. Anthony LaRocca.
How you doing, boys?
Doing good, so at least best as we can be. This week, and John will probably agree with me, typified the New York Rangers about as good as any week possibly could. Since our last recording, they lost 4-0 in a lifeless outing versus the Boston Bruins. Then, on Saturday, with the return of Artemi Panarin, something that would be big for the MCU, the bread man returns. They shut out the Boston Bruins 4-0. So how can you take a flip script like that and put it into one night? Well, the Rangers found a way to do that. That was last night. They go down 2-0 to the Flyers. It looks terrible. They roar back in the second period to take a 3-2 lead. They give up the equalizing goal, only to score the go-ahead goal. Give up the equalizer again and lose in overtime, even after dominating the entire overtime with the puck. So, John, I'm going to start with you. What do you make of the blue shirts? And I think my expression says it all.
This is just the season in a nutshell. It's basically, like you said, it's a personification of this season. It's just been terrible. I don't understand. Well, actually, I do understand how this team can show up, be lifeless in one game, storm back and beat one of the best teams in the NHL the next game, and absolutely dominate them and put up their best effort of the season, and then absolutely crap the bed in the next game. I honestly, it's too much. It's gone too far. I think there needs to be a change. I think there needs to be a change sooner than later, and I know that I'm not going to get that coaching change I've wanted for so long. Probably not until the end of the season, but it's got to happen. And I don't know if any of you saw it today, but Julien Gauthier came out. He was an oppressor and was asked about how it is to play with the possibility of being scratched every time you make a mistake. And he said, of course it weighs on you. You know, we really don't. He basically said that they don't have the freedom to go out there and make the mistakes that they make as young players without having to worry about sitting, because it's in your mind, because it's happened to him a few times before. And mind you, 2 of the penalties he took last night were bad and both cost them big time. This is the 4th player now that's expressed a similar complaint about this coaching staff. When does the front office step in and do something about it? Because enough is enough already. I mean, I'm going to go Owen Hart here and say enough is enough and it's time for a change. But I don't know what other way to put it anymore. I know that a lot of people like to harp on Quinn, me being one of them, but how can you have so many players come out and say the same exact thing about this guy and this staff when this is a team that's in a rebuild that depends on these prospects for the future of the team? It's nuts. I don't know. I can't anymore with it. It's too much. Something needs to change.
I think a lot of it is inconsistency, and I put that, to piggyback on Phil, I put that on the coaching. I put that on David Quinn. I've always said when like a coach gets fired, that sucks. He's not on the ice. The players are. However, it's the coach's job to get these players ready to play every single game. And when you see the Rangers have a stalwart defensive effort against the Bruins, win 4-0, and then the results after, it's just, I don't think he motivates the team enough to play a full 60-minute effort. I mean, some of it's not him. Some of it's just, growing pains from younger players, not having the right guys defensively, goaltending being a little shaky right now, it's just Shesterkin out. So it's not all on him. But I think he needs to do a better job with getting these players ready to play the game, because it's just, when you see such inconsistencies from night to night, it really puts the onus on the coach. yeah, sure, no hockey team's perfect. Every now and then, you know, a team's going to play good for 2 games and then have like an off night. It happens. But it just seems with the Rangers, it's mostly on the coaching with David Quinn when they're so off. I mean, I go to Zibanejad. I know at this point I don't think it's COVID. I think he's battling his own issues, but also too, how motivated is he right now? He doesn't look very motivated. Some of that's sure probably on him, but I think some of that's on David Quinn too. So he needs to go. I don't think it's going to happen at this point. I mean, what is there? 20, maybe 25 games left or such, give or take for some teams. To make the change right now, it would just seem a little, you know, off. I think the best time is do it the off season, but yeah, if I were a Ranger fan, I would find the inconsistencies just maddening. And it also doesn't help Keith Kinkaid's in goal, but you know.
Well, I'm going to get back to that right now, and I'll start with, usually when the team's inconsistent, you contribute it to 2 things. Youthful play and coaching. And we've seen inconsistency from the coaching left and right on all this. Now, it sounds sometimes like I contradict myself about selling off pieces to get assets. Or when I say things like, gee, like the joke I made on Thursday, Alexander Georgiev's getting pulled more than my dick.
Oh, snap!
So then that leads to Keith Kinkaid going against the Nets. So Keith Kinkaid started a game against the Penguins. He relieved Georgiev twice, started a game against the Bruins, and then started a game against the Flyers. What the hell? Georgiev is the backup. That Georgiev needs the play. Georgiev does need the play. As much as I'm going, and again, it sounds like, we got another Marc contradiction. Well, guess what? Once Shesterkin went down, you have to play Georgiev. And Phil said last week, maybe Quinn doesn't want to burn him out.
There's no strategy. I have no strategy. There's zero strategy.
So we're resting our season on Keith Kinkaid? Are we kidding? Saturday, I understand he had 18 saves in a shutout, which basically one of the 3 of us could have been in net for. But, I mean, come on. I mean, the Bruins were lifeless. The Rangers had all the jump that game. And now we're throwing everything on Keith Kinkaid? But come on. You gotta go back to Georgiev. What is he doing?
Problem that I've had with the goaltending situation all year. You know, every Ranger fan wants to bash on Georgiev and how bad he's been. But he's been bad because David Quinn has not handled this tandem well. Instead of making it to be a starter, which is Igor, and a backup, which is Georgiev, he's tried to make it as a tandem, as a 1A, 1B Richter type, Richter/Van Biesbrouck type situation. It's not that. Alexander Georgiev is not a starting quality goaltender. Igor Shesterkin is this team's future. Stop going back and forth between the two. It has to stop. And that's another reason why I think Quinn should go. You know what? You're literally messing with what's going on. And you remember this probably as well as I do, how bad Keenan was with how he'd go back and forth between Richter and Healy, especially in the 94 playoffs. I mean, that's what this reminds me of. It's terrible. And you know what? Anthony's right. I mean, you're sitting there and you're looking at a team that comes out with an effort like they did against Boston, where they got absolutely shellacked. And then they come out and then they shellack them. And then they come out the game after that and they look like absolute garbage against Philly, with the exception of one period. And you know what? It's I know it's growing pains, and you could say that it's not all Quinn, but you know what? At the end of the day, the coach has to get the players motivated to play, and it just doesn't seem like on a nightly basis he can do that. I don't know if he's lost the room fully yet, but it seems like he's damn well close to it.
Phil, you probably remember when we had a show off the post. At the time, I advocated for the Islanders to pick up Keith Kinkaid, because at that particular year, he was playing pretty good for Jersey because Schneider was out and he took the reins and he actually did an admirable job.
That was decent,
the problem with Kinkaid is, and I was wrong, he's not a starter, but I do think he can be a backup, but I just don't think he should be a guy that's starting. Even though Georgiev has not been good, he should play over Kinkaid. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, you're literally like Marc said, you're resting the fate of your season on a guy who's been in the minors for the better part of the last close to 3 years now. Yeah. Where is the logic in this?
Oh, by the way, played 5 games in a row. Played in 5 games in a row.
Oh God.
So, also did not mention at the top of the list Adam Fox, Pavel Buchnevich, and who was the third guy? Phil DiGiuseppe. He's on the COVID protocol list. But what that did, now Julien Gauthier knows he's in the lineup. So what happens yesterday? Yes, he took 2 bad penalties, but that goal that gave them the lead, 3-2, that was a fantastic move. And that's one of those moves that you go, there's 2 things I know watching that play. One, I don't want Seattle to take this kid. I really don't want him off this roster next year. The other one is, and Anthony, you'll be happy, is you don't have to worry about, the Islanders don't have to worry about Philadelphia's defensemen, because they got burned like toast on that. So there's a say for that. The other thing is, and I've been screaming at the high heavens lately, is when are we going to see Taurmo Raunenen? And I still think I butchered his name, but I don't care. I'll learn how to say it.
No, you got.
Yeah, and got it. And what happens? His first game, that kid had the best words to use. Is he had the chutzpah to make a cross ice pass. As Panarin passes to him cross ice, the defense goes a little bit deeper. He goes right back cross ice for a Panarin one-timer for a goal. Name one rookie that's ever done that in their first game. Ever. So this kid should stay. I don't need to see Jack Johnson ever again. There's a reason why he was waived, and I don't think anybody's picking him up. So
yeah,
bye, Jack.
I don't need to see him or Anthony Bitetto again. And you know me, I have family friends that know Bitetto personally. He's from Island Park. You know, I wish him the Taurmo Raunenen has to stay right now.
This is almost a Dan Girardi situation. Go, Anthony.
I just want to add, you guys talking about the COVID list protocols with Fox. I wouldn't worry. I texted actually Phil this earlier. Pajot was added to it yesterday, did not play, and then today he's already off the list and he's playing tonight. So sometimes there's just false positives. Sometimes they're just being extra cautious. But he's already back in the lineup. So for you guys, I wouldn't really worry about Fox or Giuseppe being out long term, because it's possible they may have the same fate where they're off the list tomorrow. So
and with all the texts and jokes that I've made, I am not wishing COVID on JG Pajot. No, not ever, not any player. So it goes Philadelphia, Washington, Buffalo. And is there any way to scrape back to respectability? Or are they going to do what they did last night, where they need that win in regulation and they piss it away? And I only gave away 1 point, then they gave away the second point.
Here's the most disappointing part about it. It's that Carter Hart has not been playing good lately, and Carter Hart was not good last night. And they found a way to lose that game. And Keith Kinkaid, I don't know what the hell he was thinking in overtime there. That was, between that and the pathetic display of no offense in the zone, having the puck for 3 minutes and not getting a single shot off, I don't know what's going on there. I mean, it's back to the well, back to the well, back to the well. The well has dried up. It's time for something new. So
that goal by Voracek was easier than beating the fish in Link's Awakening. I forgot what it was called. The gamer fish or the whatever. The one that it was so easy on Game Boy. They updated it for the new one, and it's like, it's pretty easy. The entire fight's over faster than you know it. I mean, he flopped around. It didn't even. It looked like he looked like a soccer goalie just taking a guess.
By the way, wonder kid Carter Hart, 3.62 goals against average and an .884 save percentage.
It's insane.
No,
And-
not gonna.
No. No.
If I'm a Flyers fan, I'm not comforted right now by.
No, they could end up missing the playoffs because he doesn't get himself together, and then you're looking at a whole different outlook going forward because now you have to look at, do we have a goaltending issue? And
Yeah.
Who would have thought a goaltending issue in Philadelphia? All right. So, what do you think about the Rangers week? How does it look? How did it look the last couple of days? Did you start to get a glimmer of hope only to be crushed? Well, that's what we call being a Ranger fan. So, make your comments below. Comment as much as you can. Like this video. Share this video.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.